and welcome back to the Guitar Reliquary. Today I'm excited to share with you the best guitar I've ever owned. It's actually not my favorite, but it is definitely the best. This is an Ernie Ball Music Man Steve Morse Y2D model in the 2017 limited Starry Night package. So back in the 2010s, Ernie Ball Music Man did a number of Premier Dealer Network releases. These Premier Dealer Network releases were special configurations of existing models that you could order on those different things, like this John Petrucci, the Steve Morse model, the Steve Lukather. A lot of times they were limited though, and the Steve Morse model doesn't get enough love, in my opinion. So this guitar I've had since then. It's absolutely been the guitar that I've played the most. Probably has plenty of beer soaked into the fretboard from playing while enjoying adult beverages. But it has just the magic to it. It's a 22 fret guitar with a poplar body, which is sort of an unusual body wood for guitars, electric guitars. But it sounds really great. The Premier Dealer Network configuration of the Starry Night allowed for a ebony fretboard with no fret markers, which I love. I've mentioned in the video on the Dave Mustaine that a clean fretboard, as I call it, is my favorite. And it has this gorgeous roasted maple neck. And mine does not have the matching headstock. You could actually order the matching headstock configuration, but I chose the non-matching headstock. And then, of course, this eye-catching Starry Night finish, which was not normally available on the Steve Morse model. So the standard specs of a Steve Morse include this really cool stop tail that was derived from a 12-string, a two-nomatic bridge, and the two-nomatic bridge actually locks. There are set screws to lock it to the post. It has a configuration of a bridge humbucker and a neck humbucker, and the thing that makes people sort of scratch their head and go, why, is this middle single coil that's not really in the middle, but is actually right next to the bridge humbucker, and it gives you this really neat tone that you'll hear in the video that's sort of a cross between the middle position that you would normally get if it were up here and the bridge position down here. So it's got a little bit more hair on it, which Steve uses a lot with Deep Purple, or used a lot with Deep Purple. Has a volume, master tone, and a 5-position switch. The 5-position switch is bridge only in the down position, position 1. Bridge and the middle single coil in position 2. The single coil alone in position 3. The two humbuckers in position 4. and then the neck alone in position 5. I've made one modification to this guitar, aside from the Witch King of Angmar sticker that I stuck on it and have had on it since I got it. It's the only guitar I have with a sticker on it. But the modification I made is that these normally come with 250K pots. So 250K with humbuckers rolls a lot of the top end off, and I didn't want that. I wanted it to be more aggressive sounding because it was kind of subdued for my taste. So I put the EVH 500K pots in it, and I've been really pleased with what that's done to the tone. So I didn't replace the pickups, which is what some people would do. I just replaced the potentiometers. And I'm actually going to do a video later on where I compare it to my Diablo Blue Steve Morse Y2D model that I got last year that has stayed stock with the 250Ks. When you get to the fretboard, the thing that got me most excited about this package was the 22 high-profile, wide stainless steel frets. And Music Man polishes their frets in a way that no other guitar company can match. So these have been played for going on 6 years, and they still look brand new. There's no sign of wear. They still have a really high polish. Just amazing work from Ernie Ball, Music Man. Then we get to the nut. The nut is the Ernie Ball proprietary design. I think it was originally designed to compensate for the fact that most nuts are flat, and that means that the first few position chords can sound out of tune, and so it's trying to sweeten that up. I don't really notice a difference between using the Music Man with the nut versus using the sweetened tunings on the Peterson Strobo Clip tuner that I generally use for most of my guitars. And then at the headstock, we've got some Schaller mini locking tuners, and these are back before they switched to have the little S on them, which is how they are now. And when I do the video on the Diablo Blue, you'll see the difference with that. Beyond that, it's a 12-inch radius fretboard. I've expressed my love for the 12-inch radius fretboard in previous videos. The butt adjust truss rod, which I love. You could see it as a clear pick guard, which I think really works well with the solid finish here, with the sparkle. Some cream binding, and if you haven't seen how Music Man does their binding, they actually pour it in as a liquid in a mold and let it set. It's really cool. You can see it in one of their factory tour videos. 5-bolt neck joint, and of course the output jack on the side. So this is one of my favorite guitars. It is the best guitar I have ever owned. It holds tune very well. It has perfect fretwork. I keep it tuned to standard tuning with Ernie Ball Paradigm 11s. I know you have to use Ernie Ball strings with an Ernie Ball guitar. That's not true. I prefer D'Addario strings, but the Ernie Ball strings are really good too. And then I have the action set to my standard bass side 2/32 of an inch, treble side 3/64 of an inch. The Steve Morse pickups that are in this are actually the ones that he had in his sort of parts caster beast guitar, his Frankenstein style guitar. They're DiMarzio pickups. There's ceramic magnet in the bridge position. He famously uses a non-F spaced bridge position pickup because he feels that it gives him a better and different tone than if he uses the F space because of the way that the strings go over the pole pieces. So as I've been playing throughout this video, hopefully you've gotten a good sense of all the different tones you can get out of the Steve Morse Y2D. To me, I can't rave enough about how these are the unsung heroes of the Ernie Ball Music Man line. I've owned a number of Petrucci models, and I find that the neck profile doesn't work for me, whereas the neck profile for the Steve Morse is perfect, in my opinion. It's not too thin, it's not too thick. It seems to be actually thicker at the nut and thinner as you go up, so that's kind of a neat component of it. It almost goes from like a D at the first fret up until here to like a U, and so I really like that. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you have questions about this guitar, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my other videos.